AnimeSecrets.org, the answer to all your burning questions.
And hey everybody, it's Nikki, aka Awkward Cosplay Girl, with the Anime Secrets staff talking about Microsoft E3. So, let's go! Introduce everybody else.
Hey guys, I'm Rizwan, also known as Commander Drake of Anime Secrets, the Blue Commander of Otaku Sentai Didsranger, CMD Drake on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm joined by...
Hey, my name is Anthony, also known as Green Boy on Twitter, and I'm also joined by...
Spin the bottle, who's next?
Hello, I am Miguel. I am also known by Miguel on Twitter, and they found me off the streets of LA.
Please tell me it's the red light district.
No. East LA.
Crap.
Sully.
Close enough.
Ellie, you gonna... I guess not.
Okay.
Anyway.
No, I'm not going to be participating in this. But hi, my name is Ellie anyway.
Wow.
And we are Anime Secrets, and we're covering the E3 2016 press conferences, starting off with the first of the big three, Microsoft. So yeah. I would like to talk about the new Microsoft console edition they have with the Slim, because that seemed interesting in terms of a lot of things that they've done. I found it weird that they keep having this thing where they'll make the console, then a year or two later they'll make another console smaller, same exact specs, no difference except for the size. Well, in this case they have like a better display, and that's about it.
I'll disagree with you. It has a better power system, better cooling system. It's generally pretty smaller, and it has a better graphics and stuff system.
Are we talking about the S or the Scorpio? Because
S.
they did announce two different ones.
Yeah.
I don't see the S much different than the PlayStation 4 Slim, the PS3 Slims. It's always something that we're going to get as console generations, as the console gets older. You're just going to see better versions of them come out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a standard thing. I mean, we saw it last gen when we went from the Xbox 360 White to the Elite, and the PlayStation 3 from the fat one to the slim one to the super slim one. So it's nothing too out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Well, how much is the Xbox One going for right now? Anyway,
$350.
so this thing's just $50 cheaper.
Mm-hmm. But
And with better specs.
Well, the
Slightly
better
better
specs are to
specs.
give you 40K gaming.
that's for the Scorpio.
That's for Scorpio?
That's for
Yeah.
Scorpio. The S is smaller, and it gives you the options from going from either a 500 gig hard drive up to a 2 terabyte hard drive.
Okay.
Would the original Xbox One model not have removable hard drives like the 360 did or something? No?
No, they were all inside.
Wow, okay.
Mm.
Well, that's probably the biggest improvement for this one,
Yeah.
because I can imagine some people probably already had theirs filled up.
Probably
Yeah,
for the
mine's
first 2
all-
months.
Because if the 360 updates were anything to indicate, their patches are huge for their consoles. Like, their system updates. They're
Oh, yeah.
huge.
You're-
I know. I said I wasn't going to participate in this, but I lied. So when it comes to hardware, what game? I know what GameStop really pushed was they had tried to get people to buy external hard drives to go with the Xbox Ones for more storage purposes. Like, I think they sold between 2 and 3 terabytes external hard drives, and they had to get formatted to the Xbox One so they could only be used with the Xbox One. So that's how you got extra storage for your system, was you always had like this external hooked up to the back of the system.
Yeah. And there's a, like, I don't know. I just feel like it was actually a needed improvement.
How was the... I don't have an Xbox One or anything I've any experience with it, but how was the power on the Xbox One prior to the announcement of this one? Like, was there problems with it?
No.
It was just slightly
Not
less
that
powerful than a PS4.
Not that I found, but, like, I don't play like all my heavy duty games on it. Like Fallout 4 and stuff I all play on PC because it's, to me, playing like something that's super power inducing, I'm not going to play on a console. I'm going to play on a PC
Well, I mean,
anyway.
Also
A lot of-
mods.
Yeah,
well,
also mods.
weren't there a lot of complaints that some games were running at 60 frames on the PS4 but 30 on the Xbox One?
Yes,
Is that
because
still the problem?
To be fair, there's not many PS4 games that have achieved 60 FPS either.
But I mean, they said that some games ran 60 on the PS4, but they didn't on the Xbox One.
yes, because that was a processor. Like, here's the hilarious thing, because if you looked at the specs for both the PS4 and the Xbox One, they literally had the same exact hardware with the exception of the RAM. The RAM and I think the CPU, but it was like a hair, like literally a hair difference. This is a 0.05 difference in between the hardware, and PS4 by that hair was quote superior to the Xbox One. But they literally had the AMD Jaguar. They had the same like CPU, everything. Everything was basically the same except for the shell of the system. When it came to hardware. So, but my understanding is that for for how the Xbox One was designed and how it was run, it couldn't handle the 60 frames per second. But my understanding was when it was both the PS4 and the Xbox One were released was we were told that the system was supposed to evolve with time, because they're like, oh, you're not going to be replacing the system within 10 years, because as developers get more and more stuff and technology for the system, we'll be unlocking the capabilities of the system. That's what we were told, but it turns out that was a complete and utter lie.
You see,
Well,
though,
okay.
like Xbox One S isn't supposed to like replace your Xbox One. It's just supposed to work with like the Xbox One. It's just like Miguel said, it's like the PlayStation 4 Slim or like those type of consoles where it's just like a specialty thing.
Think about it like a 3DS and a 3DS XL.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
it's just more compact, and I think it just allows for more people to have a lot more room on their consoles with larger hard drives. Because man, some of these game installs and updates can run upwards from like 10 to 30 gigs at a time, and that eats up space fast. I've had to delete a lot of freeware games from my PlayStation 4 just so I can, be able to keep up with some of the updates on my games. It's pretty crazy. But, yeah. I think the big thing on why they're both Sony and Microsoft are kind of developing semi-new consoles is because they're both making the jump to VR. And the PS4 and Xbox One, as they stand right now, don't have quite the power to go with VR quite yet, and that's why they're developing new consoles just for that market.
So wait,
I think they had announced that like maybe within the last month
Mm-hmm.
that
Well, I
they were
know
doing
that-
that.
I know that this is kind of skipping ahead to the next video, but did they confirm that the PlayStation VR was a console? Because they only
No.
No, that's the
No.
accessory.
The PlayStation Neo, which is the PlayStation 4.5, they said they weren't going to talk about it at E3, but that they did confirm that it was in development, and the basically the specs for it had already been leaked.
So it's essentially Scorpio.
Yeah,
from
but
Sony.
Sony version.
Okay.
Yeah. And basically, the main reason for them is because the PlayStation VR would not work with your current PS4 right now. And the 4.5 and Scorpio are both being developed with VR in mind, which is why you kept seeing them hammer the point with VR with Scorpio. Like, that is the main reason for it.
So why is didn't they say the PlayStation VR is coming out like later this year though?
Yeah.
October.
So
Like later in the fall or something.
Mm-hmm.
but they
October.
haven't announced
October.
anything on the console that it worked. Okay.
Yeah. We're in a weird time.
Yeah.
Like, I think the VR is supposed to work in conjunction with the Neo, but we can talk about that in the next video.
Yeah.
Back to
So,
Microsoft.
talking
though.
about VR in general, because Microsoft had their own VR setup, I believe, in their conference they talked about a little bit.
Mhm.
What do you think about VR in general for gaming going forward?
Well, they have two problems that they need to overcome in order for VR to become successful. The biggest one is that they need to overcome the motion sickness that most people get with VR. The second one, which I think I hadn't, I'll be honest, this is why I didn't want to participate in this one. Microsoft, was that Sony also showed, and I'm pretty sure Microsoft might have shown this as well, AAA games that run on the VR, because they need to have something big to really showcase that, hey, look, VR can be successful, buy it. But the motion sickness is something that's kind of been hammered for like the past several years since it was introduced, was, you know, hey, people are getting sick when they're viewing this, or it's I can't, disorienting when you wear
Like our Skype calls?
From watching games on TV and YouTube anyway, but yeah, that's definitely an issue.
But, you know, see, there's a difference between sitting down and watching something like Cloverfield, and then actually being enveloped into, like, this 3D world, and you're looking around, and it's still having to adjust to that, like, in order to see all of that.
I'm completely with Ellie on this, that like there's a lot of stuff that VR needs to fix before we all jump in on it. The pricing, as well as like the motion sickness. It's ridiculously expensive. It has no need to be that expensive whatsoever.
Well, it kind of does, to be like in defense of the developers, because it's new technology.
In defense, yeah, but
but you know, beyond that, in order to make it, in order for it to be consumer friendly, the price needs to drop tremendously. Especially if they're asking you to buy a brand new console in order to work with it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So
the funny thing is, we're talking about the price, but the Oculus Rift that came out not too long ago, they're still trying to replenish the pre-orders that they had. Those things sold out immediately.
Well, how much did it go for?
About $500.
Good grief.
But did they have to buy a brand new console?
No, that was its own thing.
Yeah,
for that, you would use
There's
your PC.
Yeah, see, you've already spent like $1,400 on your computer already, like, or more.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's just, I
the
think
market for VR is there,
yeah,
but right now, what's lacking, it's games.
Yeah, I think that's my main concern about this VR thing going forward. Is let's look at the Wii, for example. They brought in motion controls, okay, but I'm afraid that they're going to make games and just shoehorn it on things that don't need it.
Yeah.
Probably.
Like for motion control, it only really shined when the console or the game fully utilized it. Like, I know Star Fox Zero is probably like not the best example because not many people liked it, but it actually took the motion controls of the Wii U pad and actually did something unique with it. It didn't throw it in there for the sake of having it. And I think during the Sony conference where they were saying VR Final Fantasy 15, like, why?
Yeah, that was
I think that was just a
Why?
spin-off of 15.
And I know, but you don't do it just to do it. You better have a good reason to do it. And
I think it's just
I feel like I'm hoping this doesn't turn into another Kinect fiasco, where they were like, this thing is going to be innovative, and then it comes out, dies after like 3 weeks.
Well, the
And
thing
the
is,
Kinect.
it comes down to the money again.
Yeah, because didn't the Kinect like $300 itself or some crap when it came out for the 360?
Exactly.
So basically, you buy an Xbox 360 for like what, $450, $300. depending on when you bought it. The Kinect was another $300 after
Right.
that.
And like the best game that came out for it was Sonic Free Riders, and that game's trash. So, I don't know. I think making another console for this too. I get it that the Xbox One can't run it, but I don't know many people willing to risk paying who knows how much for another console that works just for this stuff. Especially seeing how it's like an unknown.
I mean, they might as well just wait for the
No
Xbox 2 to
background.
happen.
Well, here's the thing, like,
So
the
the thing is,
Scorpio is essentially the Xbox 2,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's essentially what it is.
because I think Microsoft just said, yeah, we lost this round to the PlayStation 4, and they're just getting ready to compete with the Neo.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the twofold reason, to get ready for the VR stuff coming up, and to compete with the Neo. Which, they tried not to replicate the failure that led to the Xbox One not doing well. Compare this conference to, the reveal of the Xbox One not that long ago, and no mention of sports, no mention of Kinect, no mention of video, just straight up video game. So they
Yeah.
have a plan this time around.
Yeah, I'll
compared to-
admit.
Well, not to mention, they didn't just say, oh, the Xbox One will only be available in this states until this date.
Yeah.
Remember how they screwed up that really big?
Oh, God.
Like, that was...
Yeah, Microsoft was pretty bad the last, 3 years.
This has
They
been...
were
this
Microsoft's
embarrassing.
been bad for a couple of years now. Like,
I mean, to be granted, this was probably one of their better conferences over the last 5 years.
I think
That's
it's
what
their
I was
best
gonna
one.
say. I think that's their best conference. In
it's
the-
their best conference they've had in at least 5 years since I've been following E3.
And this one was
Yeah.
really good because it showed you gameplay of games that are coming out within the next year.
Nothing. I wouldn't
'Cause
say
you-
that any of them were console sellers, though.
Well,
No, none of them were.
that
But
brings
the
up
thing
something-
is, they're not
good.
trying to focus on consoles, I feel like. Because, like I said earlier, they're going... All of these games are, all PC, connected. Like, you can buy them for your PC and play them on your PC
Yeah,
with your friends
it's-
who have it on your Xbox.
It's
I
funny
don't
that you
feel
bring
like
that
they're
up.
focusing... I don't feel like they're focusing on the Xbox anymore. I feel like they're just focusing on the Microsoft brand.
The funny thing is that when you bring that up, I started thinking, are they eventually going to stop trying to compete against Sony and Nintendo and try to compete with Steam?
Yeah,
It
that's,
looks like they're trying to come to next
Well,
season.
I'm assuming
Yeah.
they're slowly leaning in that direction.
well, I feel like
And
Steam
this-
has been coming into that direction too, because Steam started trying to do their own console, which did.
Which failed. for
We
the
all
most
know,
part.
yeah, that's what we were gonna say.
Didn't
Obviously,
only
we're not
4
gonna be
people
talking
get
about that.
I mean, okay, just to make the point clear. I don't know if I told you guys about this, but I actually went and bought the Steam controller on a whim to try it out.
For one of my friends did too, and
And-
that thing weird.
It's terrible.
It's
Like,
a weird control.
no, okay, it'd be fine. Like, I would have no problem with this controller if it was shaped differently. Like,
Yeah,
the grip for
Feels
the
too
controller.
round.
No, it's not in the roundness. The grip is pointed upwards instead of downward. Like the PS4.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's
Like,
what it was. Yeah,
All
it's
the
like,
Sony controllers and all the Xbox controllers have the grip pointed downward.
yeah, it's like they put the buttons on the back of the controller.
Yeah, and it's like
One of the dumbest things.
I couldn't.
It's
game with it.
somehow worse than the N64 controller in terms of just layout and everything. It was just I don't even know.
Yeah, like I couldn't even use it. So Steam tried, but they're failing to.
They need to stick to just
They need to stick
the
to their
store.
online catalog. Yeah,
And I guess
Stay in their own lane.
I
The thing
mean,
is-
Microsoft is a computer company first and foremost, and it would make sense for them to slowly turn into just a computer exclusive game distributor.
honestly, my thing is, and this goes back to a bigger thing for me as a gamer personally. I'm looking at the games that were shown in the Microsoft conference today, and the two examples I'll give you: Gears of War and Killer Instinct. Both are games I would consider playing in the future if I had the time and money. But I wouldn't play Gears of War on a console because that's a game I feel is more keyboard mouse friendly than controller friendly. However, Killer Instinct is totally controller friendly, in my opinion. So,
like fighting games, you don't play fighting games on a keyboard. Trust me.
No, I've tried. And it's terrible.
I'm a tournament goer with fighting games, so trust me, don't.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
I know.
Do a Street Fighter Z motion on the arrow keys.
And I'm sure Nikki will disagree on this one, but
do it.
Do it.
It's hard for me.
Do it.
I'm sure Nick will disagree with me on this, but I feel like it's hard to do FPS or third-person shooters on a console with a controller, but maybe that's just me. I don't know.
It depends on the game.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, it really does.
Like, it really depends on the game, because for Destiny, Halo, and all that stuff, like, and Fallout 4, I do, like, my controller, but for, like, Arma and, like, stuff that came out, like, basically exclusively for the PC, I use keyboard and mouse.
Of course, it's whichever one they designed the game mostly for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kicker there.
But now that we got games that are coming out on both.
Yeah, like, for me, it's more of a, well, I'm not going to buy Halo Wars on console. That's stupid. It's an RTS. It belongs in a computer.
Yeah, now I can't imagine playing a real-time strategy with a controller.
Like, I'm actually curious, Nikki. I know you said you played Halo Wars at one point. How do you actually play that game on a console?
It's designed for a console.
I know, but didn't they release a keyboard for the 360?
Yeah, but it was just, like, connected to your... it was connected to your mouse... Oh, did you mean, like, the mouse pad and stuff that was connected to your, like, controller?
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, that didn't control anything. Except for, like, typing to your friends.
What's the point?
To type to your friends on Xbox Live quicker.
But you have a mic.
Yeah, but some people didn't have mic. So anyway, it was actually designed... Basically, it's the difference between Supreme Commander and, like, a very limited... Well, I was going to compare it to Halo Wars, but since you don't know how Halo Wars is set up, you have exact places that you can only build those bases on those certain areas, while, like, most strategy games, you can build it kind of wherever. Like, Halo Wars, you have to build it, like, on an exact platform. So, like, you had a set map, and you only had, like, a certain number of moves. It's more like a chess game, rather than a, like, war-type thing. If you get what I'm saying.
No, I get you.
So, like, it was optimized for, like, a console. It was easy to play it on a console. Because you just move, like... You can, like, left, right, that was the camera, you pressed A, and then you moved your forces. It was easy.
Okay. So, yeah. Yeah, I definitely think Microsoft's starting to move away from the console arena, with all this.
Yeah.
I mean, the 360 sales fell off near the end of it, and the Xbox One came out of the gates horribly.
Yeah.
So... they might be seeing that this isn't a good idea anymore. And they're starting to show signs of moving away from it, but we'll find out.
We'll find out next E3, probably.
Probably.
Like, no.
Because
Xbox
they,
One no here.
I mean, it would make sense for them to maybe kill the Xbox One and put most of those games on PC and then release Scorpio as its own thing.
I think, if anything, whatever, iteration of console they'll keep making, it's just going to be called Xbox.
just
Xbox.
Just
Xbox One, Xbox 360, Xbox 5000, Xbox...
Yeah, they'll keep the Xbox name.
Xbox X. Xbox X.
Yeah.
That's going to be a thing, what?
Well, anybody else remember how there was this thing that Xbox was like Microsoft was trying to make a deal with Sony to do cross-platform with all of the game systems.
remember that.
Mm-hmm. And then
Well, there's
still
some
waiting on
games.
Sony.
Yeah, we're
Well-
still waiting on Sony. I was hoping that this E3 Sony would be like, by the way, we accepted it, so now you could play with your friends always.
There's some games that do it right now. I think Rocket League might be one of them that does
No.
it between all three.
I don't
I
think
No.
didn't,
I
even
know
know
you-
Rocket League, I didn't even know Rocket League was on Xbox.
Yeah, it came
Yeah.
out on Xbox One not too long ago.
I want to say
It's fun.
Cause
Yeah, but I don't think it's cross-platform between PlayStation and Xbox.
No, I don't think
No.
so. It's definitely cross-platform between computer and console, though, I believe.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what it is. But they were trying to get Xbox One and like PlayStation. So, like, that would be. Honestly, I'm really upset that there was no news on that, and we will probably never get news on that.
Well, that's... Okay, so it's a double-edged sword for me. On one hand, I love the fact that Microsoft is now doing the cross-platform between the desktop players, or like computer players, and the console players. That's a great step forward. I've been advocating for that for years. And it feels weird for me to say now that I have some concerns now that it's actually happening. Because now I'm starting to wonder, like Nikki was saying earlier, will the Xbox even live past another generation if they're going to have all this stuff on computer and on console? Like, it just seems like they'd be just dropping out the console war altogether at some point in the future because
They'd
of that.
more or less have 3 going at the same time. They'd have the Xbox One, the Scorpio, and whatever their Microsoft PC Store thing is. One of them's
Well-
gonna have to take a hit.
I was
Well-
gonna say 4 technically, because you also have the Xbox 4S.
Yeah.
What's
so
the 4S? Oh,
the-
yeah.
Never mind, the
yeah,
1S. I got
Yeah.
Galaxy and Microsoft mixed up.
I was so confused for a minute. I was like, what is the 4S? Am I just stupid or something?
No.
well,
I
again,
was
to be
just-
fair, the S is still just like a slimmer one. So
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, but it's still gonna take hits into certain sales.
yeah.
well, to be fair, I wouldn't be shocked if they phased out just the current Xbox One and just
Yeah.
leave
Mhm.
the S and the Scorpio down the line.
I mean, that's what they
I
did
feel
with
like that's what-
Sony down their line as well. They got rid of the fat and left the slim.
Hmm.
Well, that's what they did with the Wii U and the Wii, basically.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Rip my Wii.
Like, the thing is, I feel like Microsoft is trying to pull, like a Nintendo, where they're trying to pull away from, we don't want to be a console war anymore, we just want to be a console.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like that's really what they're trying to do with all of this, is saying, we're just a gaming company, there's no reason to pit us against each other. Because all you're doing is just making people more angry at each other.
Console war.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, Sony and Microsoft are obviously trying to shoot each other out of the sky, and Nintendo's just flopping around in the grass field of flowers over there doing their own stuff. And
Like,
but
Well, I feel like Microsoft now understands it's not really a war anymore whenever they're not ever going to get certain titles.
no, because
And,
No.
like,
Street
PlayStation
Fighter is
and PlayStation will never get and PlayStation will never get their titles. And
No.
they've accepted that. And the point is they're just trying to say, look, we're dropping out of this war because there is none. We just both make different games.
And that's really
That's
what
how it
have
should
been.
be. That-
Though,
Yeah, that's what it should have been from the beginning. Because like,
though, to be fair, I think the only reason they started taking the stance, sadly, they
is because money finally started biting them in the butt.
They saw that there was no chance that they could catch up with Sony. Like that one
You
giant
say
flop at
that-
Ether.
You say that, but like almost everyone I ever knew, right after they got the PlayStation 4, they chucked it and got an Xbox One.
which is funny because everybody I know has never touched an Xbox
Yeah.
One or PS4s.
I was gonna
It
say
just might be
when-
the click. it might just be the click that you're around too. So I mean, there's
Yeah.
that.
And I was
Like-
going to say,
I
you
was
look
gonna
at the
say that
sales
might just-
numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
You look at the sales numbers, and the PlayStation 4 has already crossed 40 million sold. It's only 3 years into this generation. It's doing PlayStation 2 numbers. That's how bad they're running away with this one.
Yeah.
And so, if you're
A lot of it has
Microsoft,
to do with this Microsoft's whole "you need a connect and internet to use this thing" fiasco a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
That kind
That
of screwed him
really-
over.
That's
Yeah.
why I went to the PS4. That and there's a lot better exclusives on the PS4 that I want to play. But
and it was $100 cheaper.
yeah, it really was. Yeah, that was stupid too. The
Mhm.
Xbox One is the most.
But no.
expensive.
Wasn't there some kind of like thing on Microsoft years ago where they said you have to have online capability because we're gonna lock your game license to your console or something?
That was
That
one
was
of the
the
rumors.
Xbox One.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
one of the rumors going into it. And again, it was that E3 where they came out, they fell flat. Sony came out, just hammered them on every point they didn't make. The
Mhm.
infamous, this is how you're going to share games with your PlayStation 4 friends.
Oh
And
my
they
god, that
handed
was
them the
basically
game.
Sony just like releasing a whole bunch of fucking a bunch of memes on this, and like Microsoft got hit.
I was
hard.
gonna say Sony
Hard.
definitely destroyed
Real
them
hard.
last year.
It was
Yeah.
like, oh, look at all the stuff Microsoft did wrong. Let's do the opposite,
Yeah.
and
But,
it
like-
worked
I
big
think
time.
Microsoft saw the sales, and they weren't selling more than they needed to, even after the price cuts. You know,
Yeah.
Sony was still outselling them tremendously. So
Yeah.
they're just looking at this saying, you know what? Let's not try to compete with them because we're not going to catch up.
Yeah, because I think
Let's-
at this point, majority of the people that have the Xbox One are like diehard Microsoft people,
Yeah.
and those people aren't going to leave. But that's not going to be enough to carry them.
Well, I think it's
So-
the same for both parties right now because, like we're all saying, you guys are saying on one side, we're never going to touch the Xbox. We like our PS4, and the Xbox
But the thing
One
is
guys are
that-
saying the opposite of that.
But the thing is that PlayStation has had a much longer run in the video game industry, like several generations, like two consoles into it before Microsoft decided to jump on the bandwagon, which was around the PlayStation 2 era. And they're like, "Hey, you know what? This seems like a good idea. Let's release an Xbox."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, granted, we're talking about two completely different companies, and that's one of the reasons why I never agreed with the console wars period, is because, like, if we're gonna include all consoles, we might as well bring in Nintendo, and everyone gets wrecked compared to them.
Yeah.
It just depends on which company's been running the longest.
And that's because
depends
Nintendo
on
has never like entered that console war. That it's always been between Nintendo and Sony.
It really depends on what you're looking at when you're trying to define rack. Because I love the Wii U a lot.
Yeah, same here.
Out of all the current gen consoles, I think it is the best ones.
No, I'm saying it wrecks all the other consoles. Saying,
Like she's in agreement
and-
with you.
I'm
No,
saying
but-
Nintendo, like, destroys every other game company. Period.
In terms of first party support, yes.
Yeah,
But there's a reason why it only hasn't sold more than 15 million copies, and it's an underpowered console.
It is,
Right.
but it's a more fun and it has a better reliability fan base, and that's because it's been there longer. I'm saying
On
this
top-
console war thing is really which company has been here longer and which one has more experience of dealing with people.
And on top
This
of that, if we're going to talk about how the power of the console, Nintendo has proven time and time and time and time after again that you can have a underpowered console and still wipe the floor with other people in terms of sales, like with the games themselves.
I mean, look at the
So-
Wii. Like, the Wii was the most underrated console one generation ago. But
The
yet,
Wii-
despite all that, the Wii still held its own against the titans of
which is funny because I
360 and
think
PS3.
I find that funny too because the Wii, in my opinion, is probably their worst console in terms of quality.
I would say...
yeah, but money says differently.
Yeah.
And fan base also says differently too.
I know.
thing
Just
is,
because
the
it doesn't
Wii-
look pretty doesn't mean that the,
Well, I
the
mean,
games
like, in
themselves
The
terms-
Wii
aren't.
sold on the motion
doesn't have
controller.
substance.
Yeah,
Like, the Wii sold on Wii Sports much more so than its strong lineup. Now, don't get me wrong, the Wii had fantastic games that I'd put up there with any games of last gen also. But let's not kid ourselves. We know why the Wii sold. It was the motion consoles. It was the console that you can give to grandma and grandpa, and they'll play it for a few months and then put it away. And, we saw, coming into this generation, they tried to replicate the success of the Wii. They could not quite catch lightning in a bottle again, which is why, they came in at a distant third this race. That's why they're cutting the Wii U.
But the thing is Nintendo isn't in the race. They have never entered the race. They're just there. They exist.
They're there, but they realize, listen, we can't keep taking a loss on the Wii U, which is why we're getting the NX.
Even though we still have no idea what it is yet.
I mean,
could be a phone for all we know.
But the thing is that Nintendo still has more money in its reserves for like the next 20 years, and it can still easily buy out either Sony or Microsoft if they wanted.
The thing is like if you look at this, at the end of the day, console wars, we're just pitting two companies against each other, and which companies are going to win? Obviously, the one who has the more experience dealing with things. Obviously, that's just the way world works.
And also, to be fair, Nintendo's never really in a console war for one simple reason. Like, Nintendo's biggest selling point, in my opinion, was
has
their
always
handheld.
been their handhelds. Yeah.
The
Game Boy has always been the strongest.
The 3DS is crapping on the Vita like nothing else.
I was gonna say,
only in America.
Which Sony tried to replicate, and we all see how Sony's failing in the US with handhelds.
Well, they gave up on the Vita.
PSP.
Exactly.
Yeah, Sony didn't even bother with the Vita out here. They're like, yeah, here you are. But they didn't push anything. They didn't really push any marketing. They didn't push any of the games to come out here.
Because PSP did so poorly. So, like I said, it's just which company has been there longer. And I think that's really what we need to focus down on.
Yeah, we are getting off on a bit of a tangent. This is supposed to be the Microsoft.
A lot of what they did in their conference tonight was in response of what other companies are doing.
Yeah, that's every game company at this point now.
Do you want to start talking about the different games that came out?
Yeah.
Yes,
Cuphead looks awesome.
What does?
Oh, I get it. Cuphead,
yeah, that's
Cuphead
actually
is
one of. I'm mad that is that an Xbox exclusive?
No,
Wait,
I believe so.
Cuphead's an indie game that they announced in their indie segment for 5 seconds.
Yeah, Cuphead is basically a 1930s style game.
Yeah, I saw that
I
one. I didn't know
love
the name of it.
art style of that
It
game.
is
Oh my
so
god,
good.
it looks like the old Popeye cartoons.
It
The
looks like
shading and
Disney.
everything.
It looks
Yeah.
like Disney, with
It is
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah,
It is
like a
old
Steamboat
cartoon
Mickey.
styles. It is so good, and I believe the studio behind it took part of Microsoft's indie program, which is why it's being released exclusively on Windows 10 and Xbox One.
Oh man, I'm not gonna be able to play it. What does it look like
I mean, you can
that
play it on a
strenuous?
computer, I think.
Yeah, I know. It
Yeah,
may not
Windows
be that
10.
strenuous, so I might
Oh
see if I can get it on the computer though.
no,
Because that game looks so good. I don't know if I can pass that up.
yeah, it's genuinely one of the games I've been looking forward to the most about Microsoft.
There's only one game that really had my attention since last year, and that's ReCore.
ReCore.
I've been wanting ReCore since last year.
Me. Right whenever ReCore came around, I was like, okay, but I've been waiting for this for since last year. Can I just have my game now?
They'd barely give it any attention either. That's the sucky part.
The thing is, I'm almost scared that they're just going to push it back again and just push it again for another year. Which I'm okay with, because then we'll have better graphics, we'll have better mechanics of the game, we'll probably have a better storyline. Because we all know how Halo 5 sucked, because they pretty much rewrote the storyline in 5 seconds and then just threw it out there going look at this game, you're gonna buy it anyway. So
I mean,
I had the
where's
game
line?
trailers. I mean, the story trailers that had nothing to do with the actual story.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. They pretty much rewrote that game, and you can tell playing it that they rewrote it into, how did I word it? Oh yeah, Bad Breakup Sci-Fi Edition featuring Master Chief and Cortana,
Yeah.
which that's the spoiler of the game. Um, and it's just like I'm okay with that, but at the same time, like I'm scared that it's never gonna come out because like they've been teasing it and they've been teasing it, and I just want it now.
I
Just
don't
give it to me.
think anything can tease you as much as Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh God, don't even bring that up right now.
It won't.
We got another conference for that.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just
You
saying, I don't think you
walk
need to worry about.
Recore has a release date of September 13th.
Yeah.
They said that last year though. They
Hey.
said last year that it was supposed to come out this year.
Delay.
So- Just
Yeah,
a
they're just gonna keep
reminder to
delaying it.
everyone, my birthday is 2 days before that. Y'all could buy me a console and Recore, and we call it a day.
Nah,
Could.
nah.
Or we could just tell you to shove it.
Yeah,
That'd be a lot
we
more
could.
fun.
Or we could all just be broke and just stare at you, going like, "Sorry, bud."
That's true. EA
Um,
Academy.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I didn't say it in the actual podcast. But I've been saying this all over. I'm super hyped up for Sea of Thieves, which my friend was like making fun of me for because they're like, it's just basically a worse off version of Black Flag, and I'm like, listen here, I can customize my own character, which makes it always 10 times better than Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's who?
The way I look at it is it's taking the best part of Black Flag and just making a game around that without forcing you to go on shore to kill random people. It is
Yeah.
Pirates, the
Exactly.
video game.
it is a pirate video game in which not only can you shoot people with cannons, you can sneak onto the other enemy's ship and destroy them from there. It has a lot of gameplay possibilities.
Not to mention the monsters, like the mermaids and krakens they showed.
Exactly. So hopefully this is a return to form for Rare, because that is a company very dear to my heart, and to have seen them do nothing but Connect games the last almost 10 years. Not a good time for them.
That was the game that they showed off last year that Rare was working on, wasn't it?
It is.
Oh, I forgot about that game. Yeah, it looked really good last year. I missed the trailer for it earlier today.
It was pretty
So-
good.
I need to go back
It's
and
in
look at it.
It's in our chat.
Yeah, no,
If
I've
you
got
go
that.
up.
I got that page open. I'm looking at stuff.
I was gonna say if you click it, there's the gameplay reveal trailer.
Yeah, got that
Okay.
open right here.
Yeah.
I'm angry about how they showed off Forza because they're like, here's pretty environments. Now, here's a racing game. I was like, like whenever I was first seeing it, I was like, oh great, a new Far Cry game, or oh great, like all this, like this is gonna be a great, beautiful game. Nope.
Nikki,
Racing game. Like,
Nikki,
I felt so trolled.
Here's my tweets on the matter of that trailer. Oh look, a new Gran Turismo game. God, these graphics are gorgeous. Oh, sorry, it's Forza Horizon 3. Oops. I guess.
And Turismo on Microsoft.
Craptastic.
Come on, son.
But wait,
I don't know.
I also made the greatest tweet about what happened with this Forza thing.
What?
Hey guys, remember how last year they had a real car come out from the ceiling? I remember. Pembridge Farmer remembers.
Oh man, they have some really
That was
weird
so awkward.
gimmicks.
I hate when they did that.
Though,
I love that though. Like, I love cars. So like, I was tweeting at people who were there, going like, "Can you hijack me this car, please? Like, just drive it out. No one can stop you. You'll be in a car. Like, just steal the car for me."
it's not a Prius, Nikki.
Oh my god, I hate Priuses. Please, please.
It's not a Prius, yo. You can't do that. I was actually really pleased. Like, I'm not a Minecraft person at all, but I do have a ton of friends who play Minecraft. And one common thing I see is that they have to restart their entire level and their land on different consoles. They can't have like things transfer back and forth from like an iPad to their computer. So having them announce Minecraft with a whole new server thing, where the levels all like stored somewhere digitally, and you just connect to it and you can play from any platform you want, is really cool to me.
That's also really convenient for YouTubers and stuff that do like a lot of Minecraft stuff. Like it's just really nice and convenient. Like I feel like Microsoft just did something really good with conveniency.
Yeah,
this run.
Like I was the entire time I saw this trailer, I'm thinking about my friend's kid who is like a Minecraft fanatic.
I know exactly which kid you're talking about, and I love him.
And I could just imagine him like trying to navigate, having to restart over and over again. But now, like, he doesn't have to do that anymore, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing I love about the cross-platform thing that Microsoft is pushing for now, is that you can do stuff like that. That is like your one saving thing, like, this year.
Another thing, like, this is an upsetting thing about the Division. Like, that expansion just better be free. That's all I care about. That expansion better be free, because I feel ripped off from that game.
Can you explain that in more detail? Because I don't actually understand.
Okay, so it was marketed as, oh, this is going to be a game where you betray your friends, or this and that and the other thing, and oh, it's going to have a great storyline, and oh this, oh that, because it's Tom Clancy. Whenever you hear a Tom Clancy game, you're expecting a really good backstory and stuff. Like, that's just what you expect. Nope. Yeah. You get you get like pretty much zero storylines. You get the same bosses over and over and over again. You get the same enemies. The most unique boss is the ending boss, who, like, spoiler alert, it's an Apache helicopter.
What?
Which is just a bullet sponge.
What?
It's really just a bullet sponge. So, like, and, like, all the interesting stuff happened before you got there, which was just, like, the worst part. Because you're sitting there playing through the game, and they're like, oh yeah, all this cool stuff happened, but now you're just here to clean up the mess, and you're just like, okay, but I wanted to see the cool stuff.
I wanted to see I wanted to cause the mess, yo.
Yeah, I wanted to help cause the mess and fix it, not just come fix somebody's stuff. Like, the thing is, there's a difference between, like, wrecking the stuff and then going in and fixing it. Like, someone else wrecking it and going in and fixing it, and then someone wrecking something. Other people have pretty much already fixed it, and you're just going behind them doing a better job than they did. It's the difference between Halo and Destiny, is basically what happened. Which, the Division took the Destiny route of everything cool happened before you got here. So now we're gonna have to start releasing expansions for everyone to be happy.
Yay.
So I'm just upset that that's just the route that the Division is taking, and that expansion better be free, because I feel ripped off.
I'm pretty sure anybody would feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Like how everybody's reacting to Skyrim Remastered.
Yeah.
That was stupid. Just announce the next Elder Scrolls game, you idiots.
They said they're still a few good years away from that.
Seriously? Jeez, you think they've been working on it for enough to release it?
Well, I mean,
Not really.
It's really kind of hard to compete with Skyrim at this point. They set the bar for themselves really high.
It's not that. It's like, after they got done with Skyrim and their DLC things, they probably were hard at it to make sure they would have been able to get Fallout 4 at the release window they did. So, I would not be shocked if we don't see an Elder Scrolls 6, in 2-3 years. Because along with Fallout 4, they were also doing Elder Scrolls Online. I mean, one was good, one wasn't, so.
One could say
do people even play Elder Scrolls Online anymore?
According to Bethesda's E3 conference, they have 7 million players.
Arrow to the knee means he got married, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I was going to point out.
Really?
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an old slang term.
I never played Skyrim.
it's not brought up, but that's what it actually means. Is like when he said, "Oh yeah, I used to be an adventurer like you, but I took an arrow to Neat." Means, yeah, I used to adventure, but then I got married.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright.
So,
Gives you a new ammo.
but anyway, to the like thing, I feel like that just kind of yeah. For the Skyrim thing, I think they should just done Morrowind or Oblivion, something that made it seem a little bit more, better to say, hey, look, we remastered this game, which is pretty much Skyrim, but with a different storyline.
Yeah, I'm hoping that with the Skyrim remastered, with that announced, if it's gonna take them a while to make the other Elder Scrolls games, I really, 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 really hope that they actually follow suit with, Morrowind, Oblivion, and all of that. Because, if they breathe some life into that, they could get some extra money out of that.
The thing is,
I'd be down for it.
Thing is, I'm more, I already have Skyrim. I have it on the PC. I don't need to buy the new remastered version. I want a remastered version. Yeah. I want the new remastered version of, Morrowind. Or I would buy the new version of, Morrowind. Or I would buy the new version of Oblivion.
Oh, I would be down for that too. I bought Morrowind, the original one when it first came out. I died a lot, but yeah. I have Skyrim too. Can't say that I'm really all that hyped for the remastered, but that's mostly because I don't know how my mods would react to it, and it's pretty as shit as it is. So
exactly,
it's whatever. But if it's a Morrowind or Oblivion, I'd be pretty hyped for that.
Exactly. I feel like they dropped the ball there. Is they could have easily gotten a lot more money if they decided to do something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you guys want to call it there for Microsoft E3?
I'm pretty sure I'm out of things to talk about. Go for it.
One last quick thing. The ability to buy and customize your own Xbox One Pro controller.
Oh, yeah.
Good on them. That was pretty awesome. We'll see if they give you other skins that you can put on it besides the general color swaps, but that was actually pretty cool. And Limbo sequel coming out on Microsoft Windows and Xbox One, and Limbo is free for Gold members this week.
Oh yeah, and so is Tekken. Tekken, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. Tekken Tag 2 is also free
I need Tekken
for Gold members, and Tekken 7. It's going to be releasing on both consoles, but keep showing off basically the one character they got done for Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Street Fighter Cross Tekken's been in development
Or Tekken
for
Cross
about
Street
5
Fighter.
years.
Yeah, so Tekken
I'm not gonna lie, the only
they got one
thing that's
character
good about
done.
that game is that the music is actually pretty good.
Tekken's music's always pretty good.
Okay, so I do want to touch.
Cross Tekken.
Yeah.
I do want to touch on the customizable Xbox controller. That is really good on them because I bought my own customized Xbox controller because I didn't like the color of it, and I didn't want my friends mixing up mine with theirs. So that's really good on them. I spent $300 on this. So the fact that they're getting into that market, good on them.
Yeah.
That is really cool, actually.
Yeah, you've seen my controller.
I think so.
It's like a green camo
Yeah, I've seen it.
with green buttons and stuff.
Yeah.
Wait, you spent $300 on a controller?
Yeah, because it's pretty.
Okay.
I think
Well,
that would
fancy
be a great note to end on.
I bought something for $300 because it was pretty. Summary of Xbox One S right there.
Overall, your grades on the conference, I guess.
Yeah, actually, let's do that real quick. McGill, start off.
I'll be honest, what they needed to do this time around was convince not only their player base, but people on the fringe that this is a console they can go to for games, and they knocked it out of the park in that regard. They showed gameplay and not just beta footage, so that to me is what gave them an A-. I didn't like the Minecraft part. That was the only thing I didn't like about it. I was like, okay, this is dragging on too long. But other than that, they hit all their points. They got people buzzing. It was an A- for me.
Next.
I'm gonna skip because I didn't watch it, so it'd be unfair for me to rate it.
I might go B- mainly because they did, like you said, they did show off a lot of games instead of screwing around like they've done in the past recent years. But I don't really think they showed off anything that would actually be like, this is why you need this thing. To me personally, I mean, Gears of War is okay. I've never played any of the games beforehand, so that's not really an eye grabber for me. But it wasn't as cringeworthy as their last 4 or 5 presentations, that's for sure. They're definitely stepping up their game a little bit. I'll give Microsoft that much.
I'll also give it a B. There's definitely a lot of cool games coming out that I would be interested in playing, but nothing that really made me go, oh my god, I need this game in my life right this second. Aside from maybe Final Fantasy 15, but I'm not getting that on Xbox. That's more of a PS4 purchase for me. Just because that's where I've always played Final Fantasy on PS4, this PlayStation games. Nikki?
I think I'm going to give it a B+, mainly because I'm really proud of Microsoft for doing so much better this year. They did what they needed to do. And they, like, little details where they have, like, where they were all wearing pride pins and stuff because of what happened. Like, I'm giving them a little bit of brownie points for that.
Yeah.
And just being, I feel like overall, I feel like they're just being a better company. Like, they're being a better company about gaming. So, but, as they said, there's just some things, like, I just didn't like, personally. It was just, like, some of the games they showed, I was just like, like, the whole Minecraft thing, that was just, And like they said, there's no games that would force me to go buy the Xbox, because everything you can just play on PC now. So for that, I guess I have to give it a B. But since, like, if we're just going with it being Microsoft, I would give it an A. If we're doing it as Xbox, I'm gonna give it a B.
That's actually a really good point. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Like, Xbox, it's gonna be a B. If it's Microsoft, I give it an A.
I can see that and respect it. Also about Minecraft, I kind of fast-forwarded most of the Minecraft gameplay because I got bored after the first minute and a half.
Yeah.
You probably weren't the only one.
I wish I could have.
I wish I could have.
I also wish I could have.
Look, man, I didn't wake up in time to watch it this morning. I had to watch the replay later on Spike.
I mean, Spike was actually showing the stuff?
Spike?
They're
Spike
around
only
still?
Okay, no, Spike
They're the
showed-
only cable channel that even shows us stuff. You know, GeForce did.
Okay, so I went looking at my DVR this morning, like 4 o'clock in the morning, and the only E3 coverage happening on my receiver was on Spike, and the only conference being covered was Microsoft. There was no coverage for Sony, Nintendo, or anything else.
Well, Nintendo's not going to be covered by anybody. To be honest.
they're
Except
not-
for Nintendo.
They're not even really having their digital event. It's just a live Treehouse stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for this. We are Anime Secrets. Find us at animesecrets.org. We'll have this episode on iTunes under Anime Declassified, on YouTube, and on our website. As always, like, subscribe, comment, support us, and we'll see y'all next time for Sony. Peace out, everyone.
Hey you! Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos. You can also check out Anime Secrets on Twitter, Tumblr, and Facebook. Do you want more than that? I know you do. Then go to our website where you can see daily updates and articles and exclusive interviews.